Welcome to A Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Cal Sinfield. Hello, Cal.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all right, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good, thank you for coming in. So Cal's business is called Kangaroo Connections. We're going to get into why it's called Kangaroo a little bit later. It is essentially a social media management company.
Yep.
And I really like what you've got on your website. It says, we do the hard work while you grow your business. Because like we were saying earlier, it's fair to say that businesses don't want to do their own social media sometimes, or they don't know how to. It's important they concentrate on working on what they're good at and outsource the social media to you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get into that as well, but let's start off, Cal, by your background and how you got into doing this. Go back as far as you like.
Okay, I think probably you go back when I was learning to be learning to be me. I wanted to be a manager.
Okay.
I don't know why. I wanted to tell someone what to do type thing, you know. And I was one of those that had those managers through the years that you could look back on and go, glad I didn't do it like him.
Okay.
Or that's how I not want to do it. So I got into management. I worked for a great manufacturing company in Hastings. I had a team of between 10 and 15 telesales executives in the customer service department, and it was great. I loved it, management, and it did everything I wanted it to do. Very happy.
Okay.
Life went through one of its changes, like it does, you know, and we just ended up not working together anymore after 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's when life took that big turn, you know, as to, are you going to be a business owner? Nothing that I'd ever even considered, because I always wanted to be that manager.
Yeah, okay.
I found myself in a position where life had taken a big turn. I was unemployed and probably unemployable because of the salary that I'd got myself to.
Okay.
I went down to Wales to see my sister, spend some time with her, and it was what we're going to do next.
Right, brainstorm.
She dared me to run my own business, and it was a dare. And you know, the reality was back then, crikey, especially 7 years on now, Jesus, I didn't know anything back then compared to what I don't know now. But that's how it progressed, really. You know, I'm a social person, so social media was something I was interested in. I was the person that was sharing my dinner plates and sunrises and been out for a walk.
Yeah.
Still do it now.
Yes.
But that was me, and it was just something that, you know, I'd been working hard in my businesses to develop myself, become a networker and things. So social networking was just a natural progression, really. And that's how it started. And over the last 7 years, had a business back at the time, which was Social B. It was a fantastic business. I enjoyed running that. Yeah. And then I bought into another business, which was a franchise. So things were going well. I was 2 or 3 years in, being a business owner, no idea what I was doing, but doing it nonetheless, you know. And then COVID hit, and you know, life threw another curveball, and you know, we all did what we did, got through it, ended up at the bottom of a bottle of wine every now and then, and you know, and life took another big turn, but still on the same path, really. When people ask me about my company and that now, it's I'm a bit like Trigger's broom. It's the same broom. It's had a few different handles, a few different brushes. I see. But at the end of the day, it's still me. Yeah. And it's still social media.
Yeah. Okay. And so, why Kangaroo Connections? What's the Kangaroo bit?
So after Social B, we had to close Social B down, and I felt like I floundered around for a little while. Social B at the time was my gimmick. I was the buzzy guy. You know, everyone would say, "Oh, you buzzed into every room that you went into," and so on. Yeah. And I think with anything with a business or whatever, you do need a gimmick. You do need something to make people or help people remember who you are and so on. I'm originally from Australia, so the kangaroo sort of fits there, really. And it was a brainstorming between my son, who's 13, Hayden, and Danny the Idiot, as you know, children's entertainer.
Yes.
I remember us walking around Asda, and we were literally just chucking ideas together. You know, I said I wanted something that was about me, so it was Australia. Then we started talking about colours, green and gold, and you know, that was something that was flowing quite nicely. Then we said, you know, you connect people through social media. I do networking events as well, and suddenly it sounds really corny, but it happened, and it was like, oh my God, I love that. And then when we started penciling it, and I this time round, I took the decision to do things properly. So I had a proper graphic designer help me out, things like that. So when she produced the logo and everything, oh my God, the excitement between us all really, because of what we suddenly created. I think it just had a bit more excitement, a bit more of a vision of what I wanted. So the Kangaroo now is my gimmick, and it's everywhere.
Once you see that, and when you've decided on some branding and it's sent to you, that's almost like the beginning, isn't it? It's like, right, I've got that. Now it's just build on everything else.
Yeah, because I still have it when I get it put on the edge of I've got it on my car at the moment, the logo across my car.
Yeah.
7 years on in my business, but I still look at it and think, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And I think probably as a business owner, I was only talking to a graphic designer the other day, and I think if you fall out of love with your business, it's really important that you reinvent it.
True, yeah.
And reinventing it for me was very much something about me, the colours, my passions, but continuing to do what I enjoy. I enjoy helping businesses with social media. I still like social media in the main, and it just started making sense. And since that day, really, it's just felt right.
Yeah, it's another situation where COVID has forced people, you, to actually do something a little bit better and a little bit different, and in a stronger way. Isn't it?
And I think I feel really lucky because I feel like I've been given a second chance at opening a new business. But this time with 5 years experience, let's say.
Yeah.
So mistakes of maybe bits of software that I used, or not having a bookkeeper and an accountant and things. I'm not making those mistakes this time. So it feels like I'm doing it properly.
Yes, yeah. Let's talk a bit about what you actually do and how you help businesses. It's social media management. Just tell us exactly how that works.
Yeah, so we just do the management. And actually that's only come out in the last few months that we even have become more confident about what we're saying. We don't do anything else, no paid adverts. I can do some training and things if people want us to, but that's not what we promote. We will literally help business owners with their social media. We'll take it off their hands if they want to. More often than not, that is what their business owners want. They know that it's a big part of their business, or it should be, and they also, as time goes on, find out that it's quite time consuming if you do it properly. Whether that comes down to designing, your brand and having that follow through all your adverts and your website and so on. It's not as simple as one of the girls in the front office can put a post on. And that's so common. A team of 3 and the bookkeeper's doing the social media as well. Because she got dumped with it, and that's often the way it happens. But when they realise that once you start doing it properly, it takes a bit of time and energy. So we do that for them. There's a team of 3 of us, 3.5 probably, and we create all the content. We schedule all the posts. We interact with clients. We source reviews, respond to reviews, which is really important. How many times you go on Google and see people leaving reviews for a customer, for a business, and then they're not even saying thank you. I think it's crazy. So we do all of that. Where I think there are other agencies.
So it's like the social side of social media, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still limitations to what an outsourced agency can do, but the more we can do, we try to do as much as possible, because at the end of the day, if you're handing something over, you want it looked after. Yeah,
definitely. How do you come up with a problem sometimes where a business might say, well, you don't know anything about my business, how can you write about my business and present it?
Yeah, for sure. And at the beginning, and when we first started, we probably learned some mistakes in dealing with those kind of businesses, because actually what they were looking to do was hand over their social media and not having any involvement.
Right.
Off you go. Make it happen.
And then miracles.
And then they're saying, oh well, we're not seeing much on our social media, or we don't like what you post and whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, but you don't talk to us. So now a big part of our onboarding, or when I have my sales calls, is very much like, yes, we're going to do all this for you, but we still need to hear from you on a regular basis. And that can often, that's just seeds. A good social media, some good content can come from turning around saying, in fact, one of my clients this week has been out helping to build a playground all for charity and things. And
Yeah.
they've been sending us pictures as they go, and it's fantastic
That's perfect,
content.
isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But without those seeds, I couldn't have created that post.
No, it's got to be original to the client, isn't it? And if you start using generic images, it just takes that away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
helping them understand because often the comeback there would be, oh, well, hold on, if I'm sending it to you, shouldn't I just post it myself?
Yeah.
Of which my response now is, yes, quite right. But you're not going to, so send it to me.
Yeah, or the accounts lady or the lady who makes the tea will forget.
It'll fall down the bottom of the pile. And often, I have tradesmen that I work with, they can be up a ladder all day, taking lots of pictures, befores and afters, things like that. They stay in their phone. They go home, they fall asleep, whatever it might be. Where all of our clients have a WhatsApp group set up where myself and my team, and it could be you and 2 or 3 others, all in the group.
Yeah.
It's a dumping ground, for a want of words, really.
Okay.
They literally are planting seeds. So this is a picture from a networking event today. Bang, off you go.
Right.
We will do the rest.
Yeah.
And once they realise that then they do need that input because it's quite important, but they're not actually doing it themselves, they get it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And as far as platforms, all of them, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram,
Yeah, I mean,
TikTok, and challenging.
I have to think of my age. So the team are all a bit younger than me,
Right,
and they're great. They're up to speed with a lot of these things. Outsourcing things like TikTok and Reels can be very difficult, because you do then come back to, okay, we need video content, and we need a bit more animation of what's going on in a business. So that can be difficult. Mainly for my customers, it's Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Okay.
I think I've got one on X now, Twitter. And to be honest, they're using that just to churn out information from their business, blogs and newsletters and things like that.
Right.
No interaction. I mean, how the platform's sort of still going, I'm not really sure.
I know,
but it has a place.
Yeah, I use it for brilliant businesses, and I tweet, if that's what you call it now. Maybe you call it X. What do you do?
You still call it tweet. That's why it's a weird marketing campaign, isn't it? But we all talk about it.
Yeah, and I don't really get much from it. It's almost like it's part of the package you feel like you've got to do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when clients come to us, we had a client recently we were doing Pinterest for. It just depends on what they want. But we try and help them understand of where their audience is. That's really important to us. Very early on, it's important to ask them, okay, you might turn around to me and say, I really like Instagram, Kale, that's where I hang out.
Yeah.
That's great, but where are your customers?
Yeah.
Because if your customers aren't on Instagram, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time. So when a customer comes to me and says, oh, we want to be on TikTok, you get it, because that's what they're all talking about.
Yeah.
But in reality, is that where their customers are? I have a client that likes to post on Snapchat, spends a lot of time on Snapchat doing stories and things. But the main is that no one's reading them.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
That's just part of it.
Yeah.
Facebook still has a place.
Absolutely.
It does everything that all of the other platforms does, and that's why it still continues to grow. Yes, the audience demographic may change from time to time, but it's still growing. It's still where everyone hangs out.
It is, yeah. Now, we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about there's lots of people out there that do social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of them hopefully do a good job, and as good a job as you do. So it makes it hard for people to choose who they use for social media, but it moves on to relationships, doesn't it? Because you do a lot of networking. You're a big member of BNI, and you have a big role in that, which is really important. So that's important to you because people get to know you, they want to work with you, they trust you, and that's a good way, and that's the way you see about people coming to use you through social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, your personality.
Yeah.
You are a larger than life character.
Do you know, I remember being asked early on in business coaching and things like that, or what makes you different to everyone else?
Yeah.
And being told off for that answer of, well, me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
obvious.
rubbish answer. But, like I work really hard being myself, being true, being, the larrikin that I am, no airs, no graces. I mean, my partner Claire, she says, oh, you've been out networking, have you put a performance on today type thing?
Yeah.
But I love that.
Yeah.
But what that means is that hopefully people can trust me. They know that I'm going to do a decent enough job for them. I'm going to look after their company and their brands and things. I've recently started working with an accountant.
Right.
I started working with an accountant because she came to me and she dumbed it down for me.
Okay.
And that's what I think business is about and who we decide we work with. Because if an accountant came to me wowed me with figures, I'd lose interest. I wouldn't want to work with them because they just it wouldn't suit me. And I like to think that that's what I do about business as well.
Yeah.
You know, I make me feel comfortable when people turn around and say, "Oh, you know, what's your contract?" I ask for 6 months, but I'm a grown up. If after a couple of months you don't want to do it, we stop doing it. Because my reputation's worth a lot more to me, but also I'd hope that someone would do that to me as well.
Yes.
You know, if something wasn't working, have an adult conversation. It's not working.
And treat it like a grown-up, and treat it like you're dealing with friends as well.
For sure.
Networking is dealing with friends and business owners, isn't it?
Well, I do a lot of networking, but referrals is a big part of my business. And I would say that pretty much all of my clients have come from a referral.
Okay.
My recent one, she's down in Dorset. A friend of mine said, "Oh, I know someone that does this, that, and the other down in Dorset. Could you help?"
Yeah.
Yes, of course I can. We've chatted. We're working together. Happy days. But I wouldn't have got that lead
If it wasn't for that referral.
So by being nice to people, being friendly, looking out for people. Carol, I can't get to the meeting today. Could you give us a lift? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong. I wish I could say no more often, but you know, keep looking out for people, and it will come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? What's the future for you guys for social media and for Kangaroo Connections?
Well, social media isn't going anywhere.
No, it's not, is it? It's growing and growing.
It will continue to grow. I think it goes ups and downs as what we like to see on social media. You know, at the moment, we having come out of COVID, we still want to see people. You know, we joke about the dinner plates and things like that, but we actually quite like that at the moment.
Absolutely.
Because we're getting in touch with people we lost contact with, and it still has a place. I feel for business owners because the platforms are making it more and more difficult to get your message across without spending any kind of money. We've spent a long time saying social media is free, but it isn't.
No.
You know, what they're finding their ways of taking money off us, even if it's down to verifying your profile, £10 a month, please. But it's not free anymore.
No.
As far as the business is concerned, you know, I hope it continues to grow. You know, me and my partner Claire, we want to do things in our future. Now I know that my business is strong, probably stronger than it's ever been. You know, I want it to be part of our future. I'd like to travel a bit more, things like that. I never thought, 2 or 3 years ago, that I would have a team. I thought it would just be me. And now, you know, honestly, the team are better at me than a lot of things.
Well, which is great. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. They've taught me things. You know, I have Nadine and Bianca at the moment, both actually fantastic, with Kim as well, and they've given me the confidence to know that actually I can grow my business now. Because I was quite happy. You know, it was me. I had a salary, had weekends, a couple of holidays, but now they're doing such a good job without me day to day involved. I'm out networking now. I'm growing the business now. So in a few years' time, if I wanted to step back even further, I actually think that's possible, and I didn't think that way. You've
got to a point now where it's a really strong business model where you've got people doing the work and you're out selling the work. So you're not actually, you know, if you're making pies, you're not making the pies, you're going out and selling the pies.
But it was really strange. About a year ago, I took on a big client and it put a cash injection into the business every month. And instead of maybe the way I'd have done it in the past and sort of taking out a little bit of extra salary, I said, no, let's just put this back in. And we took on our first full-timer.
Nice.
And the minute that happened, suddenly I was back out networking. And then guess what happened? I took on more clients. For ages I'd been saying, I need to be out there more. But because I was stuck behind my desk doing the business wasn't growing. Now the business continues to grow. I get surprises all the time where I get invited out for coffee. It only happened yesterday afternoon, and I walk away with a gig. I just didn't see that coming. But because I now am not glued to my desk all the time, sat behind the bloody screen, business is different. So now it was really a case of, well, I can grow the business now, and I want to. I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't lose the staff now. We'd find a way to keep them going. Because I know how important it is that I'm off doing other things.
It really gives you the flexibility, which I think is really, really cool, actually, especially with a social media business, because you mentioned earlier about traveling, and you can do that even if you are going to get on the tools, if you like, you can do that from anywhere. And you're in a situation where someone says, can we have a coffee this afternoon? I said, you can go, because you haven't got to be doing the Facebook posts or the tweets or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I would have gotten to a point a year or two ago when I'd have been out for coffees and things, thinking, Jesus, I've got a lot to do.
I've got to get back.
Yeah. And there's things that's
stressful.
There's things that need doing. But now I also, a bit like you asked why people want to work with me and stuff. Is sometimes people do just want to bend my ear. Right. And when they do, they think, well, they realise that I can help, and then often down the line it will turn into business.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate.
Yeah, well, that's how it works, isn't it? Networking as well. It's building those friends and building those relationships, know, like, and trust, all those things.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you get from it the most? What's the best bit of what you do? Why do you like it so much? Satisfaction.
I do like, it's corny, I do like helping people.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And to hear when someone comes up to me, only happened a month or two ago, someone said, I'm never sure what this social media is doing for me, this, that and the other.
Yeah.
Someone said, I see your posts everywhere. Well, that's good. I've done that for them. It's something that they don't need to do. And when they're saying business is good, or I see my face everywhere now, that must be your doing, or, I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And as I said, I didn't know I was going to be a business owner.
No.
I actually quite like it now.
Yeah.
I like being a business owner. I can go and do my networking, see my friends, or their colleagues, associates, friends, however you want to word it, but I get to see them whenever I want.
Yeah.
And I enjoy giving a good service.
Good. A question popped into my head when you were speaking there about, because I think some business owners expect that if they do a bit of social media, the phone's going to start ringing and they're going to get lots of bookings, or they see, like we were saying earlier, some business owners call Facebook posts ads, and they're not ads. How do you, if someone says to you, how do you measure the ROI on what you do, how do you answer that?
Honestly.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
And I say I can't.
Yeah, okay.
And let me explain, you go back. Well, I used to sell newspaper advertising years and years ago.
Yeah.
And that was, quarter-page advert with use this coupon and you'll get 10% off or whatever. The days of responding to an ad like that are long, long gone.
Absolutely.
But as we just talked about with networking and things, actually, the more you see somebody, the more you see their brand, their colours, whatever it be, the more chances you're going to think of using their services.
Yeah.
So I try to say to customers, in fact, my closing line is always, I guarantee you one thing and one thing only, I'll make more noise than you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And when I tell people that, I go, well, yeah, that's typical you, isn't it? But really, they don't have the time or energy to put into social media what I will put into social media for their businesses. So when you see, if you've got, like my business, green, yellow, green and gold, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Even down to the T-shirt I put on, for Christ's sake. It's everywhere. But that's my brand now. So when people say, Jesus, I see you everywhere, they haven't seen me for ages.
Yeah, right.
But I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I do for business owners. So, people that come to me, I say, there are other agencies. Yes, they may wow you with graphs and charts and ROIs and all of this stuff.
Yeah, hate that word.
I'm a little bit more genuine, I think.
Yeah.
And I say, I'll tell you what, I'll make more noise than you.
Yeah, that's it. That's the answer. And you're doing something that they probably wouldn't have been doing as well as, so you're saving them money.
Even just down to remembering to do these social media posts, I'll make sure that you have 2 or 3 posts a week minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I haven't got time for that myself. No, you haven't. No. That's why it makes sense that I do it. That's why it makes sense that I have an accountant. Absolutely. So that when my accounts went in a couple of months ago, they were right.
That's it. Yeah. That's business, actually, isn't it? It's a lot of outsourcing. It's really important.
I've learned that. Yeah. At the beginning, I tried to do everything myself.
Yeah, you can't.
So when I started again under Kangaroo Connections, I got help wherever I could, even down to staff members or accountants or, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Have people around you that can help.
Yeah, definitely.
Really important.
Definitely. What sort of clients are you looking for? Does it matter? Is there certain niches?
No, I don't. I mean, as long as they talk to me, it doesn't really matter. We can work with anyone. We've done very well with trades.
Yeah.
The builders, the plumbers, the electricians, because they do take befores and afters. They do have lots of images and work that they can, that they have that they don't show off enough.
Yeah.
We're doing quite well with financial companies at the moment.
Okay.
Just because a lot of their posts needs official approval from maybe their head offices and things like that. So we will step in and be that middleman of getting those posts approved. We've learned over the last sort of year what you're allowed to say, not allowed to say, promises that you shouldn't be making as a financial company and so on.
Yeah.
But we can help with anyone. We've just taken on a new aesthetics company. We've got an Airbnb in recently. Actually, yesterday's call was a builder.
Okay.
we literally, because we don't specialise, we really can help anyone.
Yeah.
As long as they talk to us, they have an idea of what they want to do. The builder yesterday knows what he wants.
Okay.
Knows the noise that he wants to make. Knows even down to we were putting a plan together of what he wants to say.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have the time or the energy.
No, he's busy building, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but even down to the girl in the office again, he said, I want her on the phone.
Yeah.
Not on her phone glued to social media.
No.
That's often what would happen.
Yeah.
I want her doing other things.
Good. Well, he gets it, doesn't he? He's a good example.
Absolutely.
He's a good example of a good client.
Yeah, for sure. And back at the beginning, I would take clients that wanted to haggle over price and they wanted this, that and the other. And now I can choose my customers as well. So I want to speak to business owners that want to make a bit more noise.
Excellent. So anyone out there that's got a business and is not doing social media, or have got someone who's not really working with it, then please get in touch with Cal.
Yeah, for sure.
Website kangarooconnections.co.uk.
Yep. It's just being rebuilt at the moment, but should be live by the end of the week, hopefully.
Okay. So people can get to you through that.
Yeah.
We'll put the details underneath this podcast so people can get you through that.
Great.
Thank you, Cal. It's been
Thanks
really
for your
great
time.
talking to you. I see you at networking a lot, and you're such a cheerful chap, and you've got a lovely smile. You come across really, really cheerful, and I love that.
And that's great. I work really hard for that. But
Yeah.
I think people underestimate sometimes. Even I can stand outside a networking room and feel the need to take a deep breath.
Yes.
And then when I finish the networking, go, oh God.
Yeah, thanks. I
Yeah.
can go home now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you again,
Thanks
and
for
we'll
your
see
time.
you all for another podcast soon. Thank you.